you can deliberately massage, you might say, your own energy content into vibrational compliance or alignment with your own desire. Humans don't understand that for the most part. Most humans are working very hard to mold themselves into compliance with something far different from that. Sometimes it's rules that the government has offered. Sometimes it's rules that the family has offered. Sometimes it's agreements that your society offers in an attempt to have some order of business. But most humans, you of course are the exceptions, are not really all that aware of their vibrational content. They do not understand that when they offer a desire, it is vibrationally offered. And that the way to know what the content of your vibration is by paying attention to your emotional guidance system. It's a wonderful thing when you realize that you can feel the power of your pull of desire. In other words, when you ask, it is always given every single time. The question is, are you letting in what you're asking for? You did not come forth to fix something that is broken because nothing is broken. You did not come forth to make the world a better place because you already understand that the world is what those who are about it have created it to be. In other words, you did not come forth from your non-physical vantage point saying, I will go forth and straighten them out. I will help them see the errors of their ways. Instead, you said, this is a big place. This is an environment where everybody can create whatever they are wanting. You understood this is an environment where law of attraction is the manager of all things. And you knew that the creating of your experience was about you deliberately choosing a vibrational stance or attitude or mood or personality, and that from that vantage point you would draw unto you things that match that. You never said, I'll go forth and I'll look around into the environment and I'll fixate on things that are wrong and I'll fix them, because you knew from that vantage point that anything you fixate on will become a vibrational part of your point of attraction. So when you look at things not wanted and you shout, no, 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 we've got to get rid of that, the longer you look at it and the harder you shout and the more effort you give to it, the more you achieve vibrational alignment with this thing you do not want. And in this law of attraction-based universe where it is all about inclusion, never exclusion, you get the very thing that you are giving your attention to. So it turns out that when you say yes to something, you are including it in your vibration. It is a part of your point of attraction. But when you look at something and shout no at it, you get that too, because it becomes a vibrational part of your point of attraction. And so it turns out that what deliberate creating is really about is looking at things on purpose. But here is the big important part of it. Looking at things on purpose with the deliberate intent of feeling good as you look. Because if you're looking at things that don't feel good and you're making a habit out of looking at it, even though your motives may be very valiant, very virtuous, very righteous, you cannot give attention to things not wanted without eventually living those unwanted things. It is law. Law of attraction says that it must be that way. You are a magnificent creative genius, you know. You have not just begun this creative endeavor in this body. You are old hands at it. You have been at it from the beginning of time, and even before that which man calls time. And you understand from that broader non-physical vantage point that this is a creative workshop in which you get to create whatever you are inspired to create from the vantage point of contrast in which you live. So as you are mixing it up here with others, and you are seeing things that do not please you, in the same moment of knowing what you do not want is born desire about what you do want. And our work is to assist you in readily turning your attention toward the new desire that has been born out of the contrast. Now we know that humans have been clamoring forever, it seems, about this subject of contrast. We hear it again and again from so many of you. You say, but Abraham, why does the stuff we do not want to live have to exist? Why couldn't we just come forth into the perfect environment? If non-physical is pure positive energy, then why is there so much here on planet Earth that we do not want to participate in? Why could it not have been a purer, more pleasant place when we got here? And we say, if you do not know what you don't want, you don't know what you do want. But there is a more important reason than that. This is not being given to you as some sort of a test or an assignment to see how well you do. This environment is an environment where free will reigns, which means you get to think about whatever you want to think about. No one restrains you. Nobody can stop you from your thoughts. And your thoughts are all powerful because your thoughts make up the vibrational content of your point of attraction. And whatever the content of your point of attraction is what is gravitating to you with a gravitational pull that no one and nothing else can determine. In other words, nothing can set off your gravitational pull. When you are fixated on something and you've activated in your vibration, it's on its way to you. And what you must do as deliberate creators is be aware by the way you feel of what's coming. And reach for thoughts that feel good so that what comes always feels good. So many humans look out into the environment and they see things wanted and things not wanted, and they sort of develop the attitude that I will find a way of getting me to that and that to me, because I really don't like being here in the absence of it. But they don't seem to understand that as long as they keep talking about the absence of it, as long as they keep beating the drum of where they are, they keep acting the vibration of where they are, and anything that's not in the vibrational drum beating of their personality or mood can't get in, no matter how much they say they want it. You got to practice the beating of the drum of the things that you want. In other words, you got to get happy and you got to beat the drum about things that you want in order to establish a consistent enough vibration within yourself that you become that point of attraction. As you see things that you do not want and you talk about them and you join clubs about them and you write articles about them and you join organizations about them, you become a vibrational match to the very thing you do not want. And then everywhere you go, it shows itself to you until you become even more convinced that the world is all about this big black hole that you don't want. And we say, oh, this is such an amazing world. As we peer into this world through your eyes, it is not one world, but it is as many worlds as there are perceivers of it. And as you begin to perceive your world in the way that feels good to you while you perceive it, it is our absolute promise to you. And we have source energy backing us up on this and all the laws of the universe that anything that you want can come easily, swiftly, joyfully, consistently, steadily, eternally into your experience. But you just got to beat the drum of what you do want. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. We will not encourage you to beat the drum of what's going wrong very long. But we do know that that contrast does help sharpen your focus about what you do want. In other words, we would never say that the contrast is a bad thing. And we would never say to you that your negative emotion is a bad thing and should be avoided any more than we would say to you that the sensors in your fingers that tell you that the stove is hot should be numbed with Novocaine. In other words, we think it's wonderful when you are aware that you are touching something that will eventually be damaging to your experience. And that's what the glorious negative emotion is. It's your guidance to let you know that the content of your vibration right now is not serving you as well as you would like it to. It isn't someone saying to you, bad girl or boy. It isn't someone saying to you, if you keep this up, you will be punished because it is wrong for you to hold this thought. It's just the natural laws of the universe saying to you, you are not in vibrational compliance with your desire. Do you hear that? That's not source energy saying you're not in compliance with my desire. This is not God saying, I have this list of things that you must do, and if you don't do them, I'll zap you with the pain that we call negative emotion. If you keep it up, I'll give you cancer. There's nothing like that. It is that when you are in vibrational misalignment with the energy that you have summoned, it does not serve you any more than if you plug in your toaster and then stick a fork in the line. In other words, when you add resistance to current, it shows up in ways that are sometimes startling. So we say to you, which do you choose? That which feels good or that which feels bad? That which feels good, but of course, everyone knows that. Which do you choose? That which is true or that which is false? Of course, truth is always better than false. We learned it when we were in kindergarten or even before. But when we ask you the big question, the most important question that anyone will ever ask you, what do you choose? That which feels good or that which is true? You've got conflicts in many cases, because even though you've learned from us, you've heard the tapes, you know Abraham's answers, always choose that which feels good. Many times you fixate on the truth of something as if that means anything. The truth of it is, here I stand. You say, this happened. These are the facts. These are the details. And here I stand, mired in this truth. And we say, so what? So what? Now is so temporary, it's really not worth all of the attention that you give it. It's only the platform from which you launch into that which is coming. So if you're standing in the truth of unemployment, or the truth of a broken heart, or the truth of cancer, or some dreaded disease, stand there and say, oh good, now I know what I don't want. I clearly know what I do want. And I am right now the powerful emanator of powerful, focused, always answered desires that's going to the boundaries of the universe. Never have I been more focused, and never have I been more powerful, and never have I been more summoning. And then there's one more thing you got to say, and never have I been more willing to pay attention to the way I feel, and never have I been more willing to choose only the thoughts that feel good, even if that means I have to go put my feet in the water and pet my cat for the next week or two. In other words, never has it been more important for me to get into the place of allowing what my contrasting experience has helped me shout to the boundaries of the universe that I desire. Dear ones, we want so much for you to feel the blessed, adored being that is you. If you could just feel a little bit of the love that Source feels for you, you would leave behind your unworthiness. You would leave behind your feeling of not enoughness, and you would relax into the knowing that life is supposed to be good for you, and it gets to be good for you in the detail and framework, in the ways that you carve out through your experience in association with life. You're not climbing the rungs of a ladder, trying to make yourself into something that you are not. You're here as joyful creators, wanting a lot of variety. There is not one good way. There are millions and millions and millions and millions and billions and trillions, and what comes after that? There are endless good ways. In fact, you can't get it wrong. You never get it done, and you cannot get it wrong. And the reason you can't get it wrong is because you never get it done. Even if you stand in this place that feels oh so wrong, it's not done. So it can't be wrong because it's not done. You've watched too many football games where they ring a buzzer at the end and you say, well, that's done. If we'd had more time, we could have got it right. And we say, you have eternity. You are eternal beings. You never get it done. And so as you relax and begin to accept the powerful, valuable, adored, blessed God that you are in physical form, and you start joyously laughing your way and romping your way and loving your way and appreciating your way and adoring your way through your days, you will find yourself more often in the vibrational mood that will allow the details that you have carved out of this delicate, delicious, contrasting environment, which are here as a result of that which you and others like you have set into motion before. In other words, you are leading edge. Hear that. Not that, this. You are leading edge. You are leading edge creators. That means that all that is culminates here. Can you feel how important that is? You're not broken and insignificant and incomplete beings here trying to earn your way back into heaven. Heaven comes right here where you are. It is a stream that flows where you are if you let it in. And there is nothing that Source adores more than flowing into the leading edge environment with you. And you can tell the moment that that's happening because shivers of joy are running through you. Love that makes you feel like you're going to break open your heart runs through you. Enthusiasm or passion flows through you. In other words, you can always feel when you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the energy of your Source.